Hey, my name is Jim Zaspel. Thanks for watching this video. On today's video, I'm going to show you how to calculate holding costs on a rehab or a flip, a deal that you're flipping, buying to fix and then sell right away. So before I get into that content, you know how to reach me. Go to jimzaspel.com or jimzaspelrealestate.com or Greater Philadelphia Dealmakersclub.com. All right, so let's get into it here. So the question is, how do I know, well really the ultimate goal is to calculate how much profit you're going to make at the end of your rehab, how much you're really going to walk away with that closing when you sell it to this probably an owner-occupant buyer. So obviously we got to know what your profit is, we got to know what you're purchasing it for, what your closing costs are to buy, closing costs to sell, and of course your renovation costs. But that's not what I'm going to talk about on this video. On this video I'm just going to talk about your holding cost, okay? And this pen is mostly working, so hopefully you can read it. We're going to use a different one. That's why we always have a backup handy. All right, so we've got to keep in mind a number of different things. I'm just going to list them for you and then show you how to calculate them, okay? So I'm going to list them as they come to my mind. I didn't make the list, but I do this for a living, so I can probably do it on the fly here. So first of all, we've got your financing cost, okay? So is that, let's say you're paying your private lender 10% annualized interest on your money. So if you're borrowing $200,000 to buy and renovate the property, and you've got to hold it for 6 months, how much are you going to pay on that loan for the course of 6 months? So 10% of 200 grand is $20,000, right? Well, that's for an entire year. But if you're only borrowing it for 6 months, let's say that would be $10,000, right? 10% of 20 grand is 10% of 200 grand is 20 grand. Half of that, 6 months, would be $10,000. So financing, and again, that rate is going to depend on, of course, your what you're paying your private lender and how much your principal is. All right. Of course, you want to keep into consideration your property taxes. Okay, let's say you're paying an average of $3,000 per year, 6 months. Just so you know, my rehabs from closing to buy and closing to sell take an average of 4 months, but I still base everything off of 6 months. Okay. Six months minimum. Okay. However, when you're borrowing your money, whether it's hard money or private money, I recommend you get a 12-month balloon. Borrow your money for 12 months in case stuff goes wrong. All right, so holding costs. Your financing costs. Are you paying monthly payments or not? Completely negotiable, up to you and your private lender. Property taxes. Utilities, which are minimal, but they're in there. Okay, and then you've got your insurance on the property, which is important as well. So your financing, your property taxes, your utilities, your insurance, and I don't think I'm missing anything else. But if you're really calculating your profitability on the deal, here's what it is. Here's the magic formula to figure out to the penny how much you're going to make. So it's sales price minus financing, property taxes for 6 months, estimated utilities, insurance, and don't forget your, I'm going to do closing costs to buy and sell. So closing costs to buy a house in Philly, I just bought one today, is 4%. Half of the transfer taxes plus title insurance, so I grabs 4%. So you're going to paying 2.5% to 4% to buy, and then about 2% to sell, 1% to 2% to sell. So you take your purchase price. If you're in Philly, calculate 4%. If you're outside of Philly, you're about 2 or 2.5%. Okay, that's just your purchasing closing cost. For your closing cost to sell it, let's just figure on 1.5% roughly. Okay, it's just 1% transfer tax plus some miscellaneous fees, because there will be some. Okay. Do you have any commissions you've got to pay? Okay. I recommend you flat list your properties and then sell them, but that depends on your market. Okay. And of course, you've got your purchase price and your rehab equals, I hope you can see this down here at the bottom, profit. All right, so sales price, that's what you're selling it for at the end, minus your financing costs for the time that you're holding it, minus your property taxes, minus your utilities, minus your insurance, minus your closing costs to purchase and to sell it. And that includes title insurance, by the way. Minus any commissions if you're paying that, minus the rehab, purchase price, minus the rehab, and that'll give you your true net profit. So, how do you figure out how much you're actually going to walk away with at the end of the day on a project? This is how. So, you ask me, well, why would I want to know this? Well, it's pretty darn important to know how much you're going to make before you walk into a project, right? So you think, oh man, I buy this house for 100 grand, put 60 grand into it and sell for 200, I make 40 grand. No, you don't. You'll be lucky if you make, I don't know, you'll be lucky if you make 10 or 15 grand on it, okay? So here's the rule of thumb. I'm going to give you another rule of thumb. Hopefully this erases well. It does, great. Oh boy, it's not erasing very well. I'm going to spray this later. Okay, so here it is. Here's the rule of thumb, or the formula. If you don't want to calculate all these things, I can do it much easier for you. Ron the Grand taught me this. ARV times 70% minus repairs equals what you should pay. That's going to be your cash buyer's price if you're wholesaling. Okay, so after repaired value, say $200,000 times 70%. What's 70% of 200 grand? 140. If your repairs are 50 grand, 140 minus 50 grand is 90. That $90,000 is what your cash buyer is going to pay. If your ARV is less than 200 grand, I recommend you fill in that, replace that with a 65% figure. So again, if you want to reach me, go to jimzaspel.com, jimzaspelrealestate.com, Greater Philadelphia Dealmakersclub.com, or look me up on Facebook. I'm the only Jim Zaspel on Facebook. So facebook.com/Jim Zaspel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.